one of the weirdest things I saw at Pro Day, in my own words, the podcast back from the break, Butch Jones, formerly known as we're building this thing brick by brick by brick by brick by brick. Butch Jones, formerly known as the University of Tennessee Volunteers head football coach in Tuscaloosa, inside the Hank Crisp indoor practice facility, taking in Pro Day, standing next to Bill Belichick, rocking an Alabama shirt. Nick Saban. And there were rumors going on all week, all month. There were reports going around that Alabama and Butch Jones have been talking. The two parties have been in conversation about Jones being brought in as a potential off-field offensive analyst. A lot of Bama fans, I understand. You're thinking this can't be true. This can't happen. We can't bring this guy in. Alabama's not Dr. Drew. We're not Rehab Central. We're not Dr. Phil. No, we cannot extend every coach that falls on some bad times and opportunity. But be that as it may, Nick Saban, Wednesday, when the media got to him, to talk to him about it, he said this. Nick Saban said Alabama definitely interested in bringing in Butch Jones. He says the program has a lot of respect for what Jones was able to do at Tennessee, and in the moments in which Alabama played Tennessee, Saban talked about how Jones would have his teams prepared. He's got a lot of knowledge, got a lot of information, and despite the fact that the contractual details have not been worked out, Alabama expecting to name Jones as an off-field offensive analyst prior to the start of a 2018 college football season. Now, I get it. A lot of analysts, a lot of people that have been brought in years past, you knew what they were capable of. When you brought in Lane Kiffin, you knew what he was capable of on offense. When you brought in Steve Sarkisian, even though he had issues with alcohol, you knew what he was capable of as an offensive mind. Even with Michael Locksley, you knew great recruiter. With Chris Winkie, former Heisman Trophy winner at Florida State, can work well with quarterbacks. You know what he brings in. Guys like, of course, there was a conversation, Hugh Freeze could have possibly been brought in. Even though he had his whole ordeal at Ole Miss, you know the man can recruit. You know the man can coach offense. All the RPOs that were done at Ole Miss. And Dan Werner, who was brought in to be an offensive analyst in Alabama, now at South Carolina. All of these guys, you knew what they can do, and you knew what they could bring to Alabama. With Butch Jones, you're not quite sure what in the world he is going to be able to bring to the Crimson Tide. Now, Lyle, I'm gonna call him by his given name, by his mother's name that his mother gave him. Lyle Jones is 50 years old. He's known as an offensive mind. As far as his head coaching career is concerned, his head coaching career started in 2007 at Central Michigan University. From 2007 to 2009, he would then go to the Cincinnati Bearcats from 2010 to 2012, and then the Tennessee Volunteers most recently from 2013 to 2017. His records at all three places: Central Michigan, 27-13; Cincinnati, 23-14; Tennessee, 34-27. Prior to being a head coach, did spend from 1998 to 2004 at Central Michigan, to which he was a tight ends coach, wide receivers coach, running backs coach, offensive coordinator, and a running backs coach again. In his coaching tenure as a head man, Butch Jones, Lyle Jones, only 2 10-win seasons. 2009 at Central Michigan, Chippewas going 11-2. 2011, Cincinnati Bearcats 10-3. And with the Tennessee Volunteers, You had two really good seasons, 2015, 2016. The Vols went 9-4 both years. The Vols in both seasons finished pretty strong in the SEC. 2015 it finished 5-3 in conference. 2016, 4-4, middle of the pack. But when I look at the Vols in both of those two seasons, it was offensive coordinator and quarterback coach Mike DeBoard rather than Butch Jones that really helped that program. It was Mike DeBoard that really propped up Butch Jones. I mean, you've got a lot of coordinators in the NFL, or in college football, that can prop up head coaches. I mean, for example, just look at Louisiana State University. I mean, as good as a position coach, a defensive line coach, Ed Orgeron is, not the greatest head coach, which is why he brought in Matt Canada, and then also you paid Dave Aranda a ton of money. Those two were able to prop up Ed O, but Coach O wanted to have his hand all up in the pot of Matt Canada's offense and all up in the pot of trying to see what Dave Aranda's trying to do, but yet both of those coordinators were propping him up. I look at Mike DeBoard in his two seasons at Tennessee, 2015 and 2016, the Volunteers 18-8, 9-4 both seasons. Without DeBoard, and we're talking 2013, 2014, and 2017, the Vols 16-19. Two of those losing seasons, 2013, you're 5-7, 2017, you're 4-6. So DeBoard really propped up Butch Jones. And in 2016, if you remember, that was the year where you had Josh Dobbs at quarterback, Jalen Hurd at running back, Alvin Kamara at running back, Josh Malone at wide receiver, Jawan Jennings, Ethan Wolf at tight end. On defense, you had guys like Shai Tuttle, Corey Barine, Derek Barnett, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Darren Kirkland Jr., Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, Todd Kelly Jr. You had some players on both offense and defense. You had talent. That 2016 Tennessee team, you had fans at Knoxville screaming, Rocky Top, Rocky Top, Rocky Top. This is our time, our moment, our year. We got the talent. Butch Jones, Lyle Jones, whatever you want to call him, has finally, coached us up with this 23-step program, how we're building brick by brick, how we're champions of life. We have it all stacked up for this 2016 year. We can finally have a chance to win the SEC Eastern Division. We can finally have a chance to beat Alabama. We can finally have a chance to go to the Southeastern Conference title game, win the title game. You even had some media pundits putting Tennessee as one of the top 4 seeds in the college football playoff. Yes, that happened. Under Lyle Jones. Yes, that happened. 2016, Josh Dobbs, over 2,500 yards passing, 2,946, 27 touchdowns, 12 picks, completed 63%. Jalen Hurd was a 1,000-yard back, 277 carries, 1,288 yards, 12 touchdowns. You had two 500-plus yard receivers, Josh Malone, 50 catches, 972 yards, 11 scores. Jawan Jennings, 40 catches, 580 yards, 7 touchdowns before getting dismissed from the program. But despite all of that, and the defensive players that you had, Tennessee, 2016, limped to a 9-4 season, got its life championship stripped from it by Vanderbilt. Mike DeBoard propped up Lyle Jones. Some of the biggest knocks on Coach Jones: talks big, but can't deliver. At SEC Media Days, he always talks big. He always talked big at Media Days. This is our year, our moment. We got all these guys that have gotten these degrees, majored in aerospace engineering, chemical engineering. He's got great kids. They've got a college education. That's great. I'm not downplaying that. College education is a good thing. If you got your degree, get your degree, boo-boo. Make your money. College education is important. But when we're talking about football, you're trying to win a championship, you're trying to compete for recruits, you're trying to show a fan base that your program is on the up and on the uptick. The fan base wants to see you capitalize on what you are saying, and Butch Jones did not do that. The number 2 knock against Butch Jones is, if you remember, a wide receiver by the name of Dre Bowles in 2016. He got kicked off the team for helping a young lady who said she was sexually assaulted by 2 other players at the University of Tennessee. Butch Jones called Dre Bowles a traitor. If you look at this article in the Tennessean, part of the USA Today network, Jones called Bowles a traitor for helping out this woman because he was trying to help her avoid being sexually assaulted by 2 other players, and kicked the man off the team. There's also the number of horrible locker room chemistry incidents. I mean, Alvin Kamara sat there and said it himself after his rookie season with the New Orleans Saints this past season. He talked about how the chemistry was bad at Rocky Top. The chemistry was bad at Knoxville, Neyland Stadium, how the players didn't get along with the coaching staff, how the coaching staff rubbed players the wrong way, and part of that was on Jones. Can talk a good game, but at times cannot deliver. Mike DeBoer, offensive coordinator that was there 2015, 2016, propped up Butch Jones. Once again, Jones, known as an offensive mind, has only had 2 10-win seasons. 2009 at Central Michigan, 11-2. 2011 at Cincinnati, 10-3. But yet Nick Saban has need of him. Yet Nick Saban has him at Tuscaloosa. Yet Nick Saban has Jones taking essence in Bama Pro Day wearing an Alabama shirt. If we know, as the Alabama fans, you know as the Alabama fans, and if I know as somebody that's covered this team going on 10 years now for Touchdown Alabama magazine, that Butch Jones is not the best offensive mind in the game. We know he cannot do much for Alabama. He can recruit. He can do some in-house recruiting. He can watch some film. He can break down some things. But if his ability to put together an offensive game plan isn't all there, is not strong, then we know he cannot do much for Alabama. This is a situation of where Nick Saban becomes UPS. What can Brown do for you? What can Nick Saban do for Butch Jones? That's what that's become. Because everybody else on this coaching staff that the Tides brought in, you look at Dan Enos. Dan Enos can do something for Nick Saban. I've talked about it time and time again. Took mediocre, run-of-the-mill, average talent at Central Michigan, Ryan Radcliffe, Cooper Rush, Arkansas, Austin Allen, Brandon Allen, made them 3,000-yard quarterbacks. Jeff Banks can do something for Alabama as a special teams coach. Took Shane Trapuka, walk-on punter, made him a star. Drew Kaiser, made him a star. Took field goal kickers, Josh Lambo, Daniel Camera, made them 80% field goal kickers. Took Christian Kirk, had him return 6 career punts for touchdowns. Jeff Banks can do something for Alabama. You look at Craig Kuligowski, longtime assistant at Missouri, took guys like Harold Brantley, Michael Sam, Coney Ely, Marcus Golden, Sheldon Richardson, put them all in the National Football League, and a lot of these guys were not 4- and 5-star players. Also, what he did at Miami the last 2 years on the defensive line, exceptional. Craig Kuligowski can do something for Alabama. Josh Gaddis, same thing. Even for the coaches that were inside hires like Taj Lapoy and Michael Loxley, they can do something for Alabama. Butch Jones, this is a situation where what can Alabama do for him? In terms of Nick Saban is the LeBron James of college football. I'm just going to say it as that. He's the LeBron James. LeBron James for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, some people wonder, did Tristan Thompson really deserve that $80 million contract? Some folks say he didn't, but LeBron James got him that contract. Before Iman Shumpert got let go, people thought, does Iman Shumpert really do anything for the Cavs? I mean, he can't shoot. He can barely play defense. I mean, he's known for having Tiana Taylor as his girlfriend, wife now, whatever their relationship is, and they got a reality show. But does Shumpert really deserve that contract? LeBron James thought he did because he sure got it for him. I mean, you look at, brought over Kevin Love, brought over Dwayne Wade, brought over, Derrick Rose. LeBron James, in a sense, is saying, I can be special for all of us. I can be special for you. Come with me, I can help you. Come with me, let me help you. Come with me, I'll put you on. Come with me, I will get you the money. That's LeBron James. I can be special for the both of us. He's always like whispering little things in the ears of people, just spreading little nuggets. If you watch him when he plays against the Lakers, he's talking to Lonzo Ball. Hey man, I like your game. You're a facilitator. I like how you pass the ball. You're going to be a GOAT one day, boy. Keep balling. You know what? One day, I may join you. You don't know if LeBron James is going to join him, but he's always whispering things. He's always getting you on the edge of your seat thinking, is he going to really join that team? It's the same thing in Philadelphia when he plays the 76ers and he looks at Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I like the process y'all got going there. Y'all gonna be some young ballers. You know what? I can see myself in Philly. Y'all keep grinding. I might be there soon. Talking to these young players, throwing little nuggets, kind of the big uncle of the NBA, LeBron James. I can be special for all of us. Let me help you. The same thing that Nick Saban's doing. Nobody knew who Jim McElwain was when Coach Mack came to Tuscaloosa in 2008. This dude came from Fresno State. Didn't come from the sexiest parts of California. We're not talking Berkeley. We're not talking LA. We're not talking San Diego. We're not talking Santa Ana. We're not talking Sacramento. We're not talking Oakland. Heck, we ain't even talking Santa Barbara. This guy came from Fresno State. And Nick Saban brought him in. Hey, let me help you. What does Nick Saban do? Prunes him up, gets him a little oil change. He does that paint job on him, puts some spinners on Coach Mack. He becomes a head coach in 2012, 2013 at Colorado State. But he becomes a head coach at Florida. I mean, yes, the head coaching at Florida didn't fully pan out the way he wanted to, but Nick Saban got him there. You look at, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's mouth fired off the tarmac at LAX in California. Lane Kiffin's mouth does him dirty at Tennessee. Lane Kiffin's mouth, the reason why he and Al Davis got into all those arguments with the Oakland Raiders, and is probably why Al Davis is in his grave to this day. Lane Kiffin, no, cancer cell, no. But Nick Saban, hey, come over here. Let me help you be great. Let me help you clean up your act. Let me help you get back into the good graces of other teams. We know that Lane Kiffin can coach. We know he knows offense. But Nick Saban, cleaning up his act. Nick Saban, polishing up those rough edges. Nick Saban, buffing out those scratches. Nick Saban, putting that fresh paint job on you. Nick Saban, changing that oil. Nick Saban, tightening up that loose bolt. Nick Saban, putting some chrome spinners on Lane Kiffin. What happens to Kiffin? At Florida Atlantic. Right there. head coaching job. Nick Saban always speaking those words of wisdom, trying to help the next coach, trying to grow out this coaching tree far and long and wide. This is what he's doing with Butch Jones. He's telling Lyle, hey, they claim you washed up. They claim you can't do it. They claim you can't coach. Come over here. Let me help you. Look what I've done to all these other coaches that have come through. Look what I did for Coach Mack, for Steve Sarkisian, for Lane Kiffin, for Jeremy Pruitt. Look what I did for all of these coaches, for Doug Nussmeier, all these coaches, for Brian Dable. And I remember when Brian Dable came in from the NFL last year, this is the National Football League, the creme de la creme, the big boys. And I remember folks were saying, oh man, Bama done lost Kiffin. What Bama gonna do? That's the master game caller right there. That's the guy that knows matchups. That's the guy that knows offense. That's the guy that knows how to put players in spots to be successful. Oh man, they done lost Kiffin. Holy crap, what Nick gonna do? Nick sits there, brings in Brian Dable. People are like, Dable? This is a downgrade. Dable? Who is this? This ain't no Kiffin. Once again, Dable comes from the NFL. Spent 10 years with the New England Patriots. 17 years overall in the league. 10 years with New England. 5 of those years, he's got Super Bowl rings. But folks consider Dable a downgrade. He comes in. Yes, it was kind of a roller coaster. You had to wonder, do you play Jalen or Tua? You had to wonder, was the play calling all that spot on at times? But lo and behold, through it all, you win a national championship. Brian Dable. And guess what? Nick Saban putting that paint job on him. Nick Saban polishing him up. Nick Saban puts him back in the National Football League. He's with the Buffalo Bills as an offensive coordinator. And he's looking to do the same thing and trying to enhance Butch Jones' career. Bring him in, have him watch some film. Bring him in, have him take notes. I mean, just think, he's not going to have any hands-on with the players. Bring him in, let him watch film. Bring him in, let him take some notes. Bring him in, have him learn how to be a part of a winning program. Have him be introduced to a program that's consistently winning, that's consistently in the conversation for championships, that's consistently putting players in the National Football League, that's consistently developing young men into becoming grown men, advanced men. That's what Nick Saban is going to try to do for Jones. Once again, I look at the coaching history of Butch Jones, and I understand it's not all that pretty. Once again, Cincinnati, 23-14 overall record. Central Michigan, 27-13 overall record. Tennessee, 34-27 overall record. It's not all pretty at all. Butch Jones, we get it. Talks big, can't deliver at times. Kick the player off a team for trying to help a female get through a tough situation. The lack of chemistry in the locker room a lot of times. Mike DeBoer, offensive coordinator, propping him up. But Nick Saban is the LeBron James of college football. He whispers in the ears of everybody, growing out that coaching tree, let me help you. Let me help you. Every other coach on the staff, it's what can they do for Alabama, because you know what they provide. For Butch Jones, it's what can Alabama do for him, because he comes in down on his confidence a little bit, fired at Tennessee. How can he reinvent, rejuvenate, reestablish his career as an offensive mind? Take another break here on In My Own Words, the podcast. When we get back, we will get in to what Gardner Minshew can do as a graduate transfer coming in from East Carolina. Also, Deron Payne going to the National Football League. Who steps up to fill in his spot? I got a three-man race that I will get into that will play at that defensive tackle next season. All of this some more coming up in my own words, the podcast, folks. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.